prosecution paints a convincing narrative for the jury of what they believed happened that night at trial. And this is what they say. Sheila left her house sometime between 6 to 7 p.m. telling her sons she was making a trip to Walmart. But that was a total lie. Instead, Sheila went to Kelly Brennan's house, waited in her yard, and as Kelly was leaving, she snuck up behind her, ambushed her, and attacked her from behind, likely with a hammer for the autopsy, even though no weapon was ever found. And Kelly never saw it coming. They suggested that Sheila then put Kelly in her own car and drove the 13 miles to Mark's Landing where she left her body, and then drove back to Caddo Court, parked Kelly's car there, before making the half-a-mile walk back to her own car that was still parked at Kelly's house. Part of this narrative is based on two things that they found in Kelly Brennan's yard: a drag mark and blood seemingly leading to Kelly's vehicle. But the defense has a lot of problems with this version of the story. For starters, they're like, there's no way 115-pound Sheila Trott was able to attack and then transport the 146-pound Kelly Brennan on her own. They're like, how do you drag a body to multiple places at 115 pounds when that body weighs 146 pounds? Much less lift her up inside an SUV. And even if Sheila did sneak up behind Kelly on her front lawn, ambush her, and manage to get her in the car despite her size, how the heck did Sheila do that without a single witness or neighbor seeing that happen in real time? This was in the front yard. Not to mention that blood found in Kelly's yard that police believe was the evidence showing that it happened there, negative.
I don't think you can find her guilty. I don't think there's enough evidence. This is wild.
What police didn't test was the blood found near Kelly's body at Mark's Landing, which the defense is like, this is just shoddy police work because that could have been blood from an attack and you guys never tested it, so you can't prove if it wasn't my client. Aside from that, there's not a single piece of DNA, blood, hair, anything that puts Sheila Trott at the scene of the crime. But the prosecution comes back with an explanation for that too, based on one neighbor who said they did see a blonde woman at Kelly's house earlier that night, and she was wearing a light-colored outfit, one that detectives deduced might have been Sheila in a yellow hazmat suit. So the neighbor said, oh, she was in like a light-colored outfit, she was blonde, and the prosecution was like, that was Sheila wearing a hazmat suit, which is why we found no DNA.
This is getting thrown out. This is 100% getting thrown out.
Defense thinks there's another more likely suspect in this, and they believe it's Gino. He had already threatened Daniel at his home after he first learned about the affair. According to Dan, Gino brought Kelly home that night and began her in the garage, meaning he was violent with her too. And then 2 months later, Kelly's. But once Gino took the stand, he placed the focus back on Sheila. Not only did Gino have a solid alibi during the time that they think Kelly died, it's caught on that security footage, he said that Sheila would call and email him all the time trying to provoke him into doing something about the affair.